Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and welcome to the French Seams. Thank you very much for joining me for today's video where it's a Friday Sews video and I will catch you up on what I've been sewing and crocheting and a little bit of life as well. So thank you very much for joining me. So I hope you've all had a good week. It was a good week in the French Seams household, a very busy week. It's still raining. Enough said, I'm not going to dwell on it anymore. But I am delighted to be back with you today and to share what I've been getting up to. So I'll start with what I'm wearing because this is an oldie but a definite goodie. I love this jumper. This is the Love Notions Whistler sweatshirt that I made a couple of years ago. I think I now have two of them. I love them that much. I've got them on today with a beautiful pair of Zynah earrings, which I just love. So I'll link Becky's lovely shop down below. So this is the Whistler sweatshirt. It's got this lovely shawl collar and these two buttons. They're not functional. I just sewed them on. Then these fantastic pockets and a hemband at the bottom, and I just love the construction of this, the way the pockets go in, and it's so nice. It's just a lovely elevated sweatshirt and I do love it. I have another one in a kind of a beigey oatmeal colour with kind of glittery cuffs, which I just love as well. So that's what I've got on today. So what have I been getting up to? So I've been doing some crochet. I've been doing a lot of crochet. So I am doing the Sewwha crochet along blossoms and buds blanket that came out 2 years ago and I am loving it. I'm now almost finished week 4. I'll show you the progress and here it is. So this is the blanket so far. So this was week 1, this was week 2, this was week 3, the beautiful tulips, and then week 4, which I'm mostly way through, is this amazing little blossoms and buds here. I think when I give these maybe a bit of a steamy press, they'll kind of sit nicer as little flowers, but how cute are they? An awful lot of counting and a lovely new to me stitch here with a little bobble flower, which is just beautiful. So that goes across the top. And then I'm working on the next panel of this, which I'm almost done. If I take out my hook to show you, because it is very much a work in progress, and so it's a much longer panel to go all the way along the end. So if I show you that I've got this for, looks like a little piece of popcorn, very cute. So as you can see, I've done 2 rows of the flowers and I just need to do 1 more row and then crochet it on. So that'll be week 4 done, but I am loving how it's coming together. I think the stitches are beautiful. Every week is something completely different, something I haven't done before, which is lovely. The instructions are great and you really get into the groove of it, so it's coming together so nicely. The other blankets of this crochet along were kind of do a panel here, do a panel there, and don't put them together for a long time. But this one, because you're putting together each week, every week, it seems to come together really nicely, and of course it makes for kind of ease of putting panels together, and by and large they've kind of fit together, so tension hopefully is okay. But yes, loving how this is coming along. So that's my little crochet update. So what have I been doing sewing wise? So a tiny bit of sewing, but more cutting out than sewing. So I'd mentioned before, I've mentioned a lot, that I'm going to be making the Core Threads Zynah bag, pop in a picture here, and I got the most beautiful fabric from the lovely Orla at Sewwha. So did you pick up anything in the sale last week? Let me know in the comment box below. So it's all cut out. Here we go. Look at this beautiful heart bonded nylon fabric, and then if I show you the black outer as well, so that's it. So it's all cut out. These bags do take an awful lot of cutting out, but I kind of enjoy that because it's just rectangles and you just get into the zone, and there's a huge big list of your cutting requirements. So I've got them all ticked off, all that good stuff. So love doing that. Then I got to a certain stage and I thought, I don't have any of the Decovelle. So the Decovelle is a kind of a stabilizer. So, and I'll show you a little scrap here. So this is what it looks like. On one side is kind of sticky, so that's where you stick it on, and it's lovely and sturdy, and that's great for the base and the sides and all that good stuff. So I did need some of that, so I had to put in an emergency order. So then I also got some lovely hardware, and I got this from the lovely Sarah over at the Little Sewing Tree here in Dublin. So I got a lovely zip, and she even put the zip pulls on for me. So these are going to be my zip pulls in this beautiful brass, which I think will look quite nice with the black, so I think they'll look very nice together. This beautiful rope one, which I've used quite a lot actually, I love that one. This one for the main zip, which says handmade, and then just this standard one for the back pocket. So lovely bit of zipper tape, and then a nice bit of hardware. So all again in the brass. So these, I've got my lobster clasps or swivel clasps, and then the D-rings and sliders, all that good stuff. And then of course that I'd picked up earlier, but I want to show you again because it's so cute. Little bow at the front. Very, very cute. So I'm now ready to start on that. I also did another bit of cutting out because I'd mentioned last week about the lovely elephant fabric that the fantastic Melanie Keane kindly gave me. So it's in my lovely project bag. If I can find you the little elephant fabric. How cute is that? So I mentioned that I had cut out a sweatshirt for baby French seams and for older French seams. And I was putting away the fabric and I thought, I can get another sweatshirt out of this. So now my baby nephew is getting one too. So I've now got these all cut out, haven't started sewing them, but those sweatshirts, they whiz together in no time. So I'll just batch sew them on my overlocker and that should be fine. So that's going to be a great project this week. So that's that. Now, my Carolyn pajamas. So this is the story. So if you would like to see a beautiful, beautiful pair of Closetcore Carolyn pajamas, I would encourage you to pop over to my wonderful friend Melanie Keane, again, over on Instagram. She put up a post this week of the most beautiful pair of Carolyn pajamas that she made. Absolutely stunning. All her sewing is impeccable. It really is. I would encourage you to take a look at her Instagram account. She did the piping. They look beautiful. My pajamas, they're going to be functional. Let's just leave it at that. But I'm kind of enjoying the process. So I had showed you the fabric last week and it was that lovely Tula pink and red fabric with the little birds that I'd had in my my kind of stash for a while that I got from Rainbow Fabrics. So Rainbow Fabrics, you can use Rachel !VIP and that'll give you 20% off site-wide, and that is an affiliate link. Thank you very much. So I knew I had quite a bit of that fabric, but I wasn't quite sure how much I had, and I was printing off the pattern, cutting it out, all that good stuff, laying it all out. And I was thinking, I wonder how much fabric I have. So I looked at the fabric requirements, and for my size, so I decided to go with a size 10 at the top, grading to a 12 at the waist and grading to a 14 at the hip, so then the pyjama bottoms would be a 14. I needed 3.5 meters. So I thought, oh, I don't think I ordered 3.5 meters. That'd be very unlike me to order that much fabric. So I had a look back at my order to Rainbow Fabrics. I had ordered 1 meter of that fabric. But then I was thinking, that little stack of fabric, it felt quite heavy. There's definitely more than a metre there. So then I remembered that that Tula pink is backing fabric, which is super, super wide. It's about 2.5 metres wide. So I thought, I wonder, can I squeeze this out? So I did. I managed to squeeze my 3.5 metre requirement pyjamas out of a metre of extra, extra wide backing fabric. And I'll show you how I did it here. No grain lines were harmed in the cutting of this pattern because I didn't adhere to any grain line, but it's woven, it should be fine. And I did manage to do it. I did lengthen the trousers or the pyjama bottoms by 1.5 inches. I just managed to do that. And I lengthened the sleeves by the sleeves by 1.5 inches and the trouser bottoms by 1 inch. And I'm very, very glad I did that. So shall I show you how far I've got? I've got pretty far. And so I've definitely, because you start with the pyjama bottoms, I've got them done, and here they are. So these are the pyjama bottoms. They've got the most fantastic slant pocket here, which I love doing. The pockets are very, very shallow. They only go down to here. So if I could show you the bottom here, if I made this again, and I probably will, I will make the pockets much, much deeper because you can't really fit anything in here. I know they're pyjama bottoms, but sometimes I have my phone or the boys give me a toy. So I do need pockets for my pyjamas. So I would make them much, much deeper, but it's a beautiful construction. I love that slant pocket. I think it's very, very nice. Then you've got your elastic channel. I put in a little ribbon to show the front from the back. I do like the little bird at the back, that's kind of cute. And then I did the little cuff at the bottom, which I think is quite nice. So it does have you do the waistband, so you attach one side, flip it over and then stitch in the ditch. I did do that for the waistband, which gives a beautiful, beautiful finish. For the cuffs, I thought, these are just pyjamas, it'll be absolutely fine. So I attached the cuff like you would for, say, a cuff on a jersey make, so just the two sides together and on the end of the leg. And then I just top stitched the seam lines down, which I think looks quite nice. There's loose threads everywhere. So, and as you can tell, I didn't do the piping. I was not brave enough to do that, and I'm kind of glad I didn't do that. I'll save that for the next time when I'm more confident in this pattern. So, but I think they look very, very nice, and I'm very happy with the fit, with the rise, all that good stuff, and I'm very, very glad I did add the length. So they're the pyjama bottoms. I just need to pop in a little label. I have a little retreat label that I think the lovely Tanya kindly gave us, and I think these would be perfect because these would be lovely to take away to wear at a retreat as well. So I do need to add in my labels. So these are the pyjama bottoms, which went together beautifully. The top I had a little bit of trouble with. So here is how I've got on so far. So it's pretty much done. The only thing I have left to do is the hem and the buttons and the top stitching around the collar. So this is the top. So the back is just one piece. It doesn't have a yoke. And then it's got the lovely sleeves. And I just did the cuff on the sleeve, which went in quite nicely. And then it's got a collar, and then it's got a button placket here. And then it's got a kind of a lapel here, which is quite nice. Because they don't have a back yoke, there's a very strange construction to how to put in the collar and the lapel. I messed up the collar entirely. I put the collar on upside down initially. Couldn't figure out what I had done wrong, so to unpick the whole thing, I had zero fabric left, so I just had to plow on. So you basically turn up part of the collar and then attach the facing and stuff. I'm not thrilled with the finish on this, and that is purely my own sewing. However, I have a pattern, and it's a Gilbert shirt by Helen's Closet, and that does have a lapel very, very similar to this, but I think that does have a back yoke, and I prefer that construction. I think it gives a much nicer finish. But I wanted to try a new technique, and it went in, and as I said, it's functional. It ain't pretty, but it's there. The way you kind of tuck in the top of the lapel and stuff, it's all right. It's all right. So as you can see, I need to top stitch the collar because it's a little bit bouncy, and then I need to kind of press this out nicely and give that a good press and do all the top stitching. So almost there. For buttons, I think these would be beautiful. So I'm going to kind of show you these. They are beautiful Jazz and Wow buttons. They're gorgeous, kind of purpley pink ones. I think they just look lovely. I love these buttons so much. So they're going to be the buttons. So I need to do that. I think my sewing machine will cooperate doing these buttons because it's basically 2 layers of cotton and it's interfaced. So I'm hoping my machine copes okay with the buttonholes. My machine does not like doing buttonholes, but anyway, we'll hopefully get there. Then for the bodice, I did actually end up removing an inch from the length. I thought it did come up quite long. And for the hem, what I'm going to do, I've just started, I'm actually going to bias bind the hem because it is a lovely curved hemline. I had this beautiful flowery bias binding that my lovely friend Sam kindly gave me in my amazing advent calendar, and I thought this would be perfect to do the hem. So I've attached it to the right side and I've understitched it, and now I just need to flip it in and top stitch that, but I think that'll give a lovely finish on the inside. Instead of, I think you have to turn it up 1/4 inch and then another 1/4 inch. I think doing a bias bound hem even would be lovely. So that is how far I got. So apart from the slight collar drama, the rest of it has gone pretty well and the fit is pretty good. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with these. As I said, I'm very happy I didn't do the piping because for me, I've still got my markings, for me doing the piping around here and stuff, it just, oh my goodness, I wouldn't have trusted myself. But I'm very, very glad I got this far. I had a quick look at when I bought this pattern, and I bought this pattern in August 2021. So I'm delighted to finally get it done. And they're going to be a super, super smart pair of pajamas. So I'm very, very happy. And this fabric is just really, really good fun. And I think there's a placement of a little bird as well. A little bird here, which is adorable. So I'm very much looking forward to getting these finished and showing you next week a finished pair of Carolyn pajamas. So that was my sewing, so I quite enjoyed doing that. That's the first kind of real garment intense kind of sewing that I've done this year. I have made a sweatshirt and a few bags and stuff, but that's my first pair, my first kind of real garment sewing this year that I really, really had to pay attention, and I did enjoy doing that. So some of the pieces I did really have to pay attention. It's funny how you get out of the habit of doing garment sewing, but I'm very, very happy I've got hopefully back into the habit of doing garment sewing. So that was my sewing this week. So what do you think? Let me know what you think of my Carolyn pajamas. Are you tempted by that pattern? It does come in short sleeves and shorts as well, and which I think will be lovely, and I would be looking out for a nice fabric to make those during the summer for sure, because I did make a pair of pajamas last summer in a kind of elephant block print. It was a free pattern, I believe, and the fit was never that great, but I think the fit on those will be lovely. So yeah, watch this space for a shorty pair of Carolyn pajamas this summer. So what about my plans? So nothing exceptional this weekend, the usual bits and bobs. So hopefully get a nice bit of sewing done. That'll be lovely, wouldn't it? Hopefully the weather will cooperate. We'll hopefully get out and about with the boys as well. So I want to finish my Carolyn pajamas, and I really want to get those jumpers sorted and then start in the bag as well. So I do have quite ambitious plans for this week, but we shall see how we go. There is of course something else looming on the horizon, and this is a message as well to my wonderful friend Carol from Sew Carol. World Book Day, and let's just leave it there, and I will talk to you another day about that, but I know that's on the horizon. It really, really is. So So I think I shall leave it there for now. Thank you very, very much for joining me today. I hope you're all well. If you like this video, I'd very much love it if you give me a thumbs up, and also please consider subscribing. Please leave me a comment in the comment box below. You know how much I love having the chats. I'm a little bit behind in my comments, but I do have plans to catch up on all of them, and I love responding to each and every one of you. Thank you very, very much. So I hope you all have a lovely, lovely week full of sewing or crocheting or crafting, whatever you like to do yourself. And I will catch you all again very soon in another video. Take care, everyone. Bye.